Live. So we are back and doing it again today. Give me those gloves.
Oh,
Just so I've got them here because when I get ready to do the painting, I'm going to want those.
here you go.
Thanks. I'm not sure my scissors are. You have scissors out there?
Oh, no, but I haven't yet.
Okay. So, get back in frame here. I was going to, we were going to go to the two things we were going to probably do today was one was to go down to the hobby shop and do a live feed. I called John and talked to him, and he said it was just packed with people. He said we were welcome to come down and do a live stream if we just, kind of didn't disturb anybody because, a lot of people may not want to be on camera and stuff, so we just opted against. Thank you. We just opted against doing that. So we will go down probably after the holiday is over and get the do another update and see what he's gotten in new. So that was option number one. Then option number two was I'm going to show you what I did this morning here. Option number two was going to be working on the new stuff. But I'll show you what I did. And because I thought we were going to go to the hobby shop, I just went ahead and did this stuff real quick this morning. I got some stuff done for projects. And but it's all for projects that we're going to be doing live. But I kind of got a little ahead. I know I said I was going to show a lot of the Benchwork stuff. But I went ahead and got some done. I am going to be doing a live tomorrow morning after this live session is over with. Where I've got to run over to Menards. I ran out of screws, and I need some angle irons because I've got to put up a thing. I'll show you all that in a minute anyway. So there's some things over there that I've got to take care of. I've got to do a little corner thing like this, and I'll show you what I've got to do. So I painted the bridge this morning too. That's something you really don't need to see. That's just rattle can paint. But I am going to weather it. That's probably one of the things we're going to do today. And I'm going to show you all the new pieces that are coming off the printer for the station that's going to be going right here next to the huge tower. So we'll go over all of that today. A little bit of work, show you what's coming, and thank you.
Isaac says hello again.
Hi, Isaac.
Ever do custom paint schemes on locos and rail cars? AKA your own custom railroad paint scheme.
Now do what now?
He asks, do you ever do custom paint schemes on locomotives and rail cars, like your own custom railroad?
I haven't done my own custom railroad. What I've actually done is I've done, I got one right around here someplace. I do lease cars, so I do patched cars. I do custom painting. I do custom painting. Where's it at? It's right here somewhere. Here. This is a custom painted, I showed this the other day. This is a custom painted C44-9 that was an undecorated unit. I painted it the silver, put the decals on it. I made a B unit out of it. I took the nose off of a GP60B, put it on here, and all I have left to do on this is get a power chassis for it and put handrails on it, and I've got this done. I'm going to have this as a trailing unit for my 840 BW that's around here somewhere. Anyway, so yes, I do custom paint, but this is what I do a lot of, is something like this.
He says neat.
Oh, good. This is a patched, get this so you can see, I'll get it turned to the light. So this was a Santa Fe roundhouse car, 5-bay rapid discharge. So it said Santa Fe across here and had the logo right here, so I patched that out, weathered it all, put new reporting marks on it, and did a little bit of graffiti and weathering. So this is what I do a lot of. Here, the other side where it doesn't have the graffiti on it, you can really see the patchwork on it, and then the weathering. So I've done about 30 or 40 of these. That's the kind of stuff I like to do, along with what we were covering yesterday, which was just putting graffiti on cars, on factory painted cars, weathering them up. I don't know if you were here yesterday and you saw that, but we did a Stouffer. And I'll review it again. We'll show it. I haven't done any more work on it because I stopped last night, and then I kind of started working on all of this stuff that I'll show you here in just a second. So yes, so I do a lot of that. Trying to think what else we're going to cover today. I think that's about it. That's going to probably take us quite a bit to do because the weathering the supports for the bridge are going to take a little bit. I'll set it up over here on the table. I've now got a great new spot to put the camera. It's going to have a great view of the tabletop now because of the benchwork that I just finished up. So we'll be able to see things a little better. So I'm going to get the camera. I'm going to do our usual thing where I'm going to go around and show everything that's here, what we're doing, and then we'll get over to the projects that we've got going. So I'm glad you're here, and we will get started with it. Oh. I wanted to say thank you to Connor Scott, Cog, and Detante.
Detonate.
Oh, Detonate. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. Sorry. Detonate. That made donations yesterday. I'm going to use that today to go buy the rest of the stuff I need for the benchwork that's over here that I'll show you in a little bit. So here we go.
Isaac says never would have thought of doing that to the patches, especially turning a locomotive like that into a B unit.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of the B units. Somebody said he'd never thought about doing that with the patchwork or doing a B unit. I've actually done tons and tons of converted B units. So I love doing them. Okay, so this hasn't changed a whole lot right here. I'll show you where all the big changes came this morning. This is, again, as we talked about, this will be the, I'll be working on the elevated track starting next week, making it a double elevated track. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Here's the huge, monstrous hotel. And right now I'll show you some of the pieces here in a little bit of the station that's going to go right here. This is going to be sitting on a covered area of this track right here. We'll have the big hotel and we'll have the station right there. So nothing really has changed with this, although we did glue the wall. I'll have to move it and get it out of the way. We did glue the back wall together yesterday. All right, so then we come down this way. I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to do probably, if I get the benchwork finished up, I'm probably going to take Wednesday morning, and we may do a live, and I'm probably going to go ahead and finish the ballast up on that track that we fixed this past weekend. So, I'll get my glasses on here so I can see the screen. Here is the bridge that I painted this morning. So, as you can see now that it's not the black anymore, it really looks pretty good. What I'm going to do is the areas that I showed you guys, you can't really see them right now because it's all the same color, but we have those patch areas that were right in these areas right here. Like that's been concrete that's patched and fixed. So I'll mix up a paint that's a little bit darker than this, but in the same tonal range. And those patches I'll make a little bit darker, like it's fresh new concrete. So what we're going to do today is the bottoms right here. We're going to do the weathering down here and around the base on all of the, let me see here. We have... the other one's right here someplace. We got 3 of those we got to do, and the back buttress one. But I don't. Oh, here's the other one. So I've got all of those. So we're going to weather that after a little while, and then tomorrow morning after I get done with the bench work, I'm gonna this all weathered. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to do the matte finish dull coat to it, and then we'll glue all this done, and then we can put it in place and be done with it. And I'll get some cars sanded, painted, and we'll put them up there and striping on. And we'll be all finished with it. This is just the little engine I'm using to test with. We'll be doing, when I get the ballasting done this week, we'll do some more of that. Well, there's going to be a lot of testing done because I'll show you here in a sec. Let me get this. Somebody asked if this was based on a real location or a custom location. It's based on a custom location, but we do have everything that we put in here, like, for example, this big building. That's based on a real building, as will be most of the skyscrapers that we do. We've got 15 more skyscrapers coming that we're printing off, and all those are done off of real buildings around the world. So we're just going to be kind of taking ones that we really like and putting it together here and just building our own city. So again, if you haven't been with us, this is all going to be huge skyscrapers, big city all the way through here. Starting to get smaller and smaller as you go out, apartments, townhouses, suburbs, and then this is going to go into a little mountainous area right here and then out over into the industry. All right, here's what I worked on today. Ta-da! Got it done. Well, most of it done. There's shelf sitting right over here. Took the jump track out from the HO. that was down below right here, so I could work, that comes over here to our other HO level down below. So I got the 2 beams in that come across. They come to a point here and it spreads out down there a little bit more. I just want a little more stability right there. I had the room to do it, so I went ahead and did a little more stability right there. So this is going to be, I put the joist hangers in, so I've got the piece right there, and this is going to butt up right here, and we're going to bring it around tomorrow, and I'm going to cut everything, and we're going to wrap it around to where this all gets flush right here, so that probably late this week, over the weekend, we can cut this right here, and we can, I'll cut it back a little bit, and we'll bring it onto this. This is what I got to get the angle irons for, is I've got to put an angle iron right here and right here, so I can put a piece coming across right here, so that this won't be such a hard angle, because I really want these 3 tracks to not go too far past here, because I want foam back here, so I can make my incline for the tracks to be able to go up to the upper levels. So this is going to I'm going to have to really play around with this a little bit and get it done. What I'll have to do first is I'll screw this down to the 2x4s that are underneath, and this will be able to be removed when I don't want it in place. And I'll have to, once these are screwed down in place and it's not going to move, I'll put this piece in right here so I can get it put in perfectly, so this thing can just set down in here. And then when this comes across this wood right here, I'll do the same thing right here. We'll put an angle. This is all going to be tomorrow morning, so that's why I'm going to get the parts this afternoon. We'll be putting all that in here. So that's we've just about got it. We're just about ready to start. And then a little late this week, also we will start the I use foam road bed. We'll start bringing the foam road bed across right here through this, and we'll bring it right into here, get it all painted gray, and we'll get this done so we can get our loop done. So that's where we're at. So now I'm going to show you. All right, let me get this kind of out of the way here. So now I got a place to set stuff. I got to be careful right now. I can set stuff here at this end because the wood's splayed out pretty good. But okay. So this was all that we did yesterday. We glued together yesterday. That's the back wall to that. So I'm going to just take and get this out of the way. I want to show you this. This stuff's really good. Let me see if I can get a good close-up of this. This is the station that we're working on. This is it's about a 3 or 4 level. This is one of the wings that's out on the side, so it's not the full height that it's going to be. It actually is the main tower that has the clock and everything standing up that tall. So I'll give you an idea here. Somebody asked if we ever do steam engines. We probably will. I don't have any right now. I just have diesels, but I do plan on getting some steam. Okay, so this gives you an idea of the height. You can see the station will be about this tall total, so you can see about how tall that will be in comparison to the huge hotel that we have. So but it'll be much, much wider. This is only one small section. I don't remember if I think there's pieces come off on either side and wrap around, and then we have the huge center section, and then this repeats over on the other side. So this is going to be probably about 18 inches. I'll give you so you can get an idea of size right here. This is going to be about 18 inches in width right here. So we will have a nice size station to put over on the other side. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up so that we can do the weathering. We're going to work on this and a little bit on the bridge itself on the sides, and then we're going to do that abutment that's over there on the other side. So let me get this camera set up here on my new spot, since we now have the Benchwork up here. So let me get this set up right here, and we will drop that down like that. I can actually see this now. Okay. So I think maybe I'll pull this out just a little bit. Table out just a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm going to move this this thing out of the way. I've got enough water and stuff here to do what I need to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the light highlights, and then I'm going to come back in and do dark highlights. So let me get the station out of the way. We're gonna put this over where it kind of goes. We'll take a look at that at the end. Oh, if you weren't here yesterday, that was some of the graffiti that we were working on. That scene, there we go. Yeah, okay. So we'll finish this one up another day. All right, let me get, good. Let me get this big piece out of the way. This is 3 sections that we glued together yesterday. It's pretty strong. I've got some braces that I'm going to put on the back side. There's 3 sections here. It goes 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put some braces there, and that'll be done. All right, so I'm going to set this up here by the camera. So you said the camera looks pretty good?
Yeah.
Where it's sitting? Okay. So let me get, we're going to start. If I turn this light on so I can see a little better, does it cause a bad glare? Gabe?
I'm looking, it takes a second.
Little, okay, so I'll leave it off. All right, so I'm going to get my plate. Let's see, let me get my brushes that I need for this. I'm probably going to use this for streaking, and I'm going to get one that's a little more of a medium brush for overall fading. Let's see, I think I'll go with, I've got a tote here, it's got all my brushes and stuff in it. That's what I'm digging around in right now. I think I'll go with that. Probably right there will be pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to get my white. This is the white. So I'm going to start with that, and I am going to get a gray. I'm going to try, let's see, that's the elephant gray. I think we'll go with granite gray here. Let's see how this looks. Oh, that's pretty good. I think I can, if I fade this down, I can get it to match that gray. I can get it to match that gray pretty good. All right. So let's shake some of this gray up. I've got my dirty water. I have my paper towel set up here to keep the brushes pretty clean. You got to, when you do this, you got to kind of keep in mind where you think your weathering is going to need to go. Weathering or light highlights or whatever. You know, that gray right there, I'm going to take a look at that. That is actually going to be a good gray, I think, to do that concrete patching that I need to do on the bridge surface. So let me get some white so I can do some mixing here. I'm going to try white just to start off with, doing some of the highlights, and then if it seems too harsh, then we'll knock it down some. All right. We're going to just get this, and we're going to, like we did yesterday when we were working on the graffiti, you want an inconsistency. For half of it, and the other half we're going to be doing dry brush. Okay, so what we're going to do, all right, it seems like this should be the bottom, the base, and the top it is. This is actually what underneath the bridge itself. This is the foundation right here. So all the work needs to be done on these edges right here. So I'm going to take this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just see how the white looks. And I'm doing a dry brush just to start off with so I can work with it if I need to. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this top edge right here. I'm going to start defining the line right here where there'd be wear from weather and everything, just beating on this right here. Now dry brush means you get paint on the brush and then you get most of it off. Just going to be doing this right here. I kind of like the white actually. Now, but it's coming down the sides, so I'm going to get the brush clean, and where it's starting to come over the sides a little bit, I'm just going to streak this down. I don't want anything blotchy. That's looking good. I'm happy with this. All right. I don't know how well it's going to show up in the camera. I'm going to try to do a little reflection here, but I have a nice white line for light reflection.
Isaac asks if we can just get it a little more.
Zoomed in?
I'm going to zoom it in.
You betcha. Zoom it in, whatever you need to do.
There we go. Okay.
As long as it doesn't get like fuzzy or anything.
Yeah, no, it's still good.
Okay. So now that it's zoomed in, now where do I need to work so I don't get out of frame?
Right where you're at.
Right here, just in this,
perfect.
like right in this
yeah,
general area?
that
Okay.
general area.
Okay, so that's what I'll do. Okay, so as you can see here, probably see here, I've got a white line that I did with dry brushing right here on this edge. And then the bits that came over, I took my brush, got it wet, dried off a little bit of water, and I streaked those areas down so you didn't have just blotches. So we're going to flip it around. We're going to do the other side and do the same exact thing. So get a little bit of paint on here, get it knocked off for dry brushing, and then we're just going to go right here on this edge. You're going to see it coming in. You're going to see the white start to show up, and it's does a really nice job of giving you a highlight. So here we go. Get a little more. And what I do is I come back and I do like maybe a little more white in certain spots, not the whole way, but I'll add a little bit in different spots. Okay, now I can already see right here I had some come over. So I've got my brush clean. I put water into it and then I dried it off. And so now we're just going to come in and we're going to streak this down like that. So now we kind of got rid of that. And what that does is it gives you a nice streak coming all the way down the whole face of this right here. So now I have a few areas where the white's a little harsh. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to soften it with this same brush that has the water on it. And I'm just going to pull a little bit down like that. I'm really liking how that's looking. So now we're going to catch this end right here, and then we're going to come up and we're going to do the top right here. Yeah, so just monitor it, Gabe, and if I get out of frame, just let me know.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to do this edge right here. Just a couple little spots. Come in, just a little too harsh, clean it up. Gives you a nice top edge. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. A little more dry brushing. Got to get that a little more dry. There we go. Okay. That did nice. All right. So now I've got, I'll try to get this. Now I've got it to where I've got a good edge. I've got some streaking coming down. I've got a good edge all the way across. It's looking pretty good. All right. So now what I want to do is you got to think about water running and what it does. So if this was real, we would have water coming this way and we're coming down this way. So you want some streaking on either side of the pillar. So what we'll do here is dry brush again, pull it out, and then on either side I'm using the edge of the brush instead of the flat of it. We're just going to do some weathering down like that. Okay, I got the paint cleaned off. I'm going to clean the middle right here, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of that excess off. And you can start to see a little bit of the white coming down right there. That looks really good. I'm happy with that. You do a quick look. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to clean things up just a little bit more. There we go. So now I'm going to do that here and on each side of that. So again, we're just dry brushing and using the edge of the brush. A little too much off that time, so we'll put a little bit back on. There we go. And around the base of the column too, we want to just do some splotches there. Now I'm going to clean off so it's not so much. There we go. Okay, so you can really start to see how we're getting some color coming down the sides of that. And it's just, let me see here. Yeah, I'm really liking it. It in person it looks really good. Just follow this example of this, and you'll get the effect you want. It may not come out on the camera, but this will give you what you want. All right, so we're going to flip it around. We're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to get edge of the brush, and we're just going to pull it down right on either side of the column. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of this, and I'm going to blotch it right around the top. Like that. All right, get the paint cleaned off. And then just come in here and kind of fade that down so it's not so harsh. Just like that. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way just so all you see is the paintbrush working. There we go. Okay, so that, I'm really pleased with that. I'm getting some really good varying color coming across here because of all the streaking that's happening. So now we want to come in and we want to do just a little bit of blotchiness on the top up here. So I want to get a little bit of it there. It's wet along with the dry. And then we're just going to come in here. I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to try to get a camera angle so you can see it. I'm just going to come in and just dab. Dab, 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 like that. Clean this off. And then come back in and neaten that up. And just let that have a few little areas like that on the top of that. All right, so that, I'm taking a look here, make sure I'm happy with how that looks. I'm going to set it up here, see how it looks. Yep, that's going to be just fine. Okay, so what we got to do now is a lot of this actually is, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, but a lot of this is going to be covered by the bridge. I think all of it gets tucked under there. In fact, I'm sure it is. Let me see here how that works. Yep, that is. So we can actually save ourselves time since none of this is going to be visible. So all we're going to do is just do some streaking right here, like we did down here, just in a variety of spots on both sides, and that should do it. I'm going to hold on either end like that. This will be all dry brush. So we're just going to do dry brushing down like this, and I'll come back and I'll clean all of this up with the water. Okay. So now we're going to clean it up by just coming in and going over the top with a little bit of dampness on the brush. And we'll just pull some streaking down just to get some effects. There. So now you can see that's got some really nice variance in color right there. We'll flip it around. We'll do the other side, then we'll do the two ends, and then I'll do a little bit on the poles themselves. Okay, so we'll flip it. And you want it to kind of look different on each side because it's not going to be the same on each. So like I'm going to do a little more here and maybe that, and that's it for this side. And I'm just going to come in here just like we were doing. That's pretty good. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right. So now we're going to do just a little bit around the tops of the poles. Not a whole lot. And we'll fade those down. What I mean by fading down is you lift the brush up. You start with pressure and you lift it up so you get a streak going. You don't apply pressure all the way down. You just start light, and then you just pull right off, just like that. Yep, we're getting some good variances of color on that now. So same thing, now the brush is clean, and I'll come down here towards the bottom part to fade it out. The streaks I had down below. There we go. So that gives me a beautiful little fade right like that. So just spin it around. Same thing, we're just gonna I'm starting with pressure at the top and pulling the brush up and off as I come down, just like the other side. And we're just gonna take this and we're gonna work this out. Now, the thing that's great when you're at this stage, you don't like how it looks, it's fine. You can just get your brush really wet and you can just scrub it all off and you can start fresh. That's all you have to do. See, there's a few spots here that now that they've dried, I'm not that happy with. So now I'm just going to take some of the areas off. My brush is a little damp. And I was able to clean some areas off right there, and that worked perfectly. All right, so this one is done. So there's one. So here, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'll put that here and that in comparison. And you can really see the difference that did. We were able to fade that gray down, and it came out looking really good.
Ever modified a locomotive shell to make it more prototypical, say putting metal parts like grab irons?
Somebody asked if I ever detail out engines to make them look more prototypical. Oh, of course, yes. A lot of the newer engines that are produced by the manufacturers these days, the model manufacturers these days, have a ton of details already on it that you used to have to add yourself. There's basic details that all engines should have on them. The horns, the uh, grab irons, the steps that go up the front and the backs of the engines. That should all be on there. If they don't, I always add that stuff. Bells. I'm just trying to think of the other stuff that I put on. The right, if it doesn't have the correct what's the housing for the lights? If it's because sometimes they've got the housings in the wrong spot, so you want to correct that. So things like that, yeah. So yes, I do those sort of things. Try to get it as prototypical as possible. Okay, so this is coming out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how this is fading. And this white, what it does in addition to the streaks, the weathering streaks, it fades the original paint. It gives you a faded effect on the original paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to run through this.
As it says, I'm modifying an old rail sheet from Boston to make it look more prototypical. The reason I'm going to put it on the DCC chassis to make it work.
There you go. The fellow said he's upgrading a Bachmann, and he's going to put it on a DCC chassis so he can make it worth it. He's doing a lot of detail work to it. That's what you got to do. This is what this is. This is a hobby, and you got to do a little work yourself. It's always, I know a lot of people just want to take the stuff out of the box and start running, and that's fine. But me, I like the hands-on part of it and getting it looking the way it should look.
As it says, for context, the locomotive is GP40-2R Sorry, forgot to mention what it was.
Oh, that's all right. It's a GP40. Is what he's working on. It's a good looking engine. I like the Jeeps. Always have. I'm a real big fan of the GP60s. All right, we're gonna start doing the just like we did on the other one. We're doing the streaking on either side of the pole, down on the base for the water. Will be running when it rains in my room here. I may try a little bit of the darker gray in a few spots just to see how that looks. But I'm really liking how this is just fading out. That's just something you can play around with yourself and see how it looks for you. All right, get this top part like we did before. I don't want to miss it. Get just little blotches here and there on the top, and then we'll wipe that off for the most part. There we go. Okay. So we're moving along pretty good on this now. So I'll get this top up here done, and we'll just about have this guy finished. And only one more to go. Yeah, one more to go.
As it says, I even have a wall-covered glass jar rail car I obtained recently from Acura.
Ah, he has a car from Acura that just obtained recently. I like Acura car stuff. One of my favorite. Acura is one of my favorite manufacturers of cars to weather. The finish they put, the finish Acura puts on their cars lends itself to doing this sort of thing right here to get your streaking done and all this. I'm not sure what they use as their flat finish on their cars. I don't, but it is the best. Uh, Worst is roundhouse. I It'll take me forever to do a roundhouse car, getting it the way I want it. I don't know what, again, I don't know what they use for their final finish, but it is definitely not weather friendly. Okay, just about got this done. I'll get the poles done. There we go. All right. Now, same thing we did before. Pressure here, lift the brush up as you go down. Same thing. And then we'll do cleanup like this and that. And I'll just make sure I've got my ends done pretty good. And the white will really start to show up again as it dries. As you can see here, it's dried really well. We're getting some really good weathering going on this stuff. Again, we're just going to take it and pressure lift, pressure lift.
As it says, I'm part of the Muncie and Western Railroad Club. We do a train show every year. Want to know what it is and where?
Oh, the Muncie train show. I think it seems like we've either done it. See, I've traveled a gazillion train shows over the years selling my artwork. We've traveled the entire Midwest, um, back east, West Coast. So we might have actually done it one year. I don't know. All right, I want a little more white right here. That's looking a little better. Now see, this has got a little more weathering to it, which is fine because this could be the one that's furthest out. So I'm good with that. I'm going to take a little bit off the middle right here. Not going to probably see this middle area anyway because it's going to be under the bridge, but our camera angle may allow you to see it. Okay, so there's another one. There's one. So they're starting to do. All right, so now I've got to take the bridge off up here because my last one is sitting underneath. Okay. So this is the bridge. We're going to put we're going to do a little bit of streaking down the side right here, not a whole lot. And then I think this gray right here, I'm going to experiment around and just see if I can make the concrete patches here a little bit of a darker gray. We're just going to set this off to the side right now while we finish this third one. Oh, we also have the abutment to do, so we'll get that as well. So we're about halfway done on this.
As it says, it's at the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Muncie, Indiana.
I know we've done the show in Indianapolis when they have the GATS show there, and we've been all over Ohio. I know we've done probably 2 or 3 in Indiana, but I'm going back a ways. Talking about that, we're probably going back, and I don't know if you had the shows back then or not, but we're going back at least 20 years on when I was traveling with that stuff. So if it was around then, might have. It's just hard to remember all the shows we did. Okay. Just fade these areas down real quick. See right here is a big difference between airbrush and just doing a brush. I'm able to really control all the streaks that you see here. I mean, you can use a fine airbrush tip, but you're still not going to get a lot of pencil thin lines like you do with a regular brush. So this is why my preferred method is just using the brush and the dry brush method on this stuff. That's looking pretty good. So we're gonna flip this around. We'll start doing the streaks on this side around the pole. We're almost got these done. Yep. I did the dab on the top, on the horizontal. Okay, that is getting there. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to smooth this out a little bit. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Get the other side. There we go. Fade it out. There, nice. Okay, I think I'll get the liquid. I'm going to thin some more of this white down just a little bit here. I like having some always on hand. All right. Got those areas that are standing areas. Okay, so we just got to do the top on this, and then I'll have my three supports pretty well finished. I may try on the back side of one of them that I know is going to be the back side that isn't visible. A little bit of dark gray to see if it adds anything to it. I don't think it's really going to, but I always do experiment around just to see if I can up the game on the weathering. Somebody asked how the hobby store went. I called John today and I told him I just want to be sure it'd be okay to come down. He says it was fine. But he did say they were extremely busy, and if we did come down, if somebody was didn't want to be seen on camera, that we take care of all of that. Make sure we either blur their faces or whatever. So I didn't really just want to have to get into doing that. So we just didn't go today. So we will wait until after the holiday is over with, and we will go down then when it's just not as busy. And then we'll just see all the new stuff that's come in. Yeah, we were planning on it. I called him, I guess it was probably about 10:30 this morning. And I could hear the people in the background. I had to wait a little while too. I was on hold for a little bit because he was with customers. So when I had to hold and I could hear it in the background, I was like, oh, okay, I don't think we're going to be doing that. And then when he came on, he said it was just packed, which is great. I'm happy for him. That's great.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, no problem. I know we're going to be doing a new hobby shop. I'm going to contact them. We're going to be doing a new hobby shop review live early next week. We'll give you more details about that. It's probably going to be Monday or Tuesday. They've got a lot of consignment stuff, really good things. I've seen pictures on Facebook about them. Looks really good. So hopefully we'll find some really neat items that are great. It kind of looks that way. So be sure to tune in for that one. Let's take a look here. Yep, that's looking really good. They're all pretty uniformed, but all do have different streaks in different areas other than the basics, where the basic stuff goes. So I'm going to set these and let them set up for a minute before I do the dark gray on it. So I'm working on the white. I want to go ahead and do the abutment here. I'm just basically going to do the same thing. I'm going to do just a light right here on this edge. So you got light and then streak that down. This is all the way back against that wall, that rock wall that I have. So you won't see a whole lot of it. It's going to be just, you're only gonna see mostly just like this edge right here and maybe a little bit of that edge. So that's what I'll concentrate on. I'll do the basics and then I'll add a little bit more in those areas, you know, giving I know where the focal point is going to be. But we'll start off with doing a dry brush on this top edge right here. Okay, get this cleaned off and then deal with this. Start doing the fade down. And I'll come back in and I'll add more on these areas right here I know that are going to be seen. I'll focus a little more right in those spots, and especially on the end. There we go. Somebody asked if we thought about doing freight cars. We have. Um, we printed an entire steel mill, and there are some cars available in scale for it, but for the most part, there are not. So we printed off, um, gosh, I don't even know how many we got up to, but I would say we probably printed off 40, 50 cars of bottle cars, the Coke cars, the slag cars, those little ones that move stuff around. We did all of that. We've got an entire fleet of cars. What was kind of nice was the guy that made the cars and had the files. He set them up with you could print them off if you wanted to, but I didn't. He had the trucks, but he had his bolsters and pins made for MTLs. So all you got to do is just get MTL trucks and couplers, and you're good. So we've done that. I did find a really good. I love Ortner cars, and I'm going to have a fairly large concrete plant. So we we're going to print off a bunch of Ortners. They're hard to find in scale. I don't know what it is about them, and when you do find them, they're really expensive. They kind of are too in HO. I think they're more. It was just kind of like a limited run type of a thing. Because whenever I see them online for sale, boy, everything's expensive. So we're going to just print off our own in scale stuff there, and we do have the HO as most of you know that have been with us. So I'm probably going to wind up printing some of them off in HO. You can get decals all over the place. No issues there. So I'll probably just wind up doing my own. So yes, we have done, and we will continue to do our own car prints. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to work a little bit backwards here. Take off some of these streaks at the bottom, like that. Let's get to where I want it now. We've got this up here on the top pretty good. I'm going to work some of that out just a little bit so it's not quite as blotchy. There we go. This looks really good, which is going to be mostly the focal point because when we're filming, it'll be down angle. So stuff at the bottom is more important than stuff up high. I am going to get this end right here though, because this is going to be visible big time. Which ones? Oh, DLW. No, I've seen them. I've even got a few around here. You can find just about anything you want at the train shows. You get a good one where you get guys that are bringing in collections versus like see a lot of new stuff. You'll find a lot of things. All right, I'm going to get a little bit up here on this top edge now. I'm just letting it. I'm using the more wet paint. And I'll come back in. It may look a little wet right now, but I'll come back in. I'll dry this off. and I'll take some of that off. You just take a dry brush and you can pull off what you don't want. And then any that went down, I'll just go ahead and finish streaking those down. There we go. Okay, I think I've got this back wall done. Let me take a look against the rock wall. That'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to leave that standing upright like that. The bridge, I'm just going to do a little bit along the flats. I'm not going to be dealing with anything on the inside right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gray, I'm going to experiment around on the other side right here until I get it right. I'm going to take my gray and I'm going to, this area in between the sidewalk and the concrete outside walls, actual roadway, I'm going to do a little bit of a darker color. And then, of course, like I said, I'm going to get an N-scale car that has movable wheels. And I will use a slightly darker blackish gray. And I'll roll the wheels through it, dry it off so it's a dry brush. And then in each one of the lanes, I will do the wheels, giving a so you have those, like you're looking down and you see the tire tracks. So I'll be doing all of that. But for right now, just to get this finished so I can glue everything to it, you know what? I kind of like, yeah, I'm going to have to use a bigger brush. Okay. So when you have a bigger space like this, this is not going to work. Something like this is going to work. So we are going to get, I use this right here for that. All right, it's the same thing. I'm just going to tip this on its side. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way right here. Okay. So I'm going to get this wet, get it started with, get the bristles soft. Yep. You can easily, Katie makes the, somebody says they're using body mounted coupler boxes. Katie makes those pretty good. I've used those quite a few times. Okay, I'm running out of white paint, so we're going to put a little more on here. That. And we're going to do a big dry brush on this. So I'm going to take most of that. I'm going to peel it off, put it on that right there. And let me see. I'm going to do the back side of the thing first. That's not going to be seen. Just so I can get my pattern down. Oh, there we go. I just kind of hit it like that. Yeah, that'll do it. And then come back and do a cleanup. Get back down to the base gray, but just streak it here and there. Okay, I think that's going to work. I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to do a few areas right here. I'm mostly just highlighting these top edges like that. I'm having to be careful because I just painted this today, so I don't want any of my fingerprints on any tacky paint. So I've got to just make sure I'm careful with how I handle this. And I have most of my grip on areas that aren't going to be seen. Somebody asked about the horn hook couplers on some of the older stuff, why they did that initially. I think it was mostly for reliability. Horn hook couplers are, in that style of coupler, are much more kid friendly. So in most of the train sets back in the day, and cars were made not so much for adult hobbyists, but for kids to play with. And they wanted something that could stand up to all the use. So that's mostly why they had those back then. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm liking how that is. That's going to match. If you look at this, I'm going to show you what this is going to look like. So we have this sitting like this. All the streaks and everything on that, I think that's going to be just fine. Anything I don't like, I can always adjust once I glue everything together, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be all right. All right, so we get the other side. Again, bearing in mind where I'm touching so that I don't get any fingerprints on the deck itself. I'm trying to handle mostly on the ends and the underside, because you'll never see the underside anyway. Okay. Now I'm going to fade this down. I've got my white on the upper edges. I'm going to just do a quick like that, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take it back down to the base paint, and our streaks will start to show up. We just kind of start hitting this in a variety of areas. Now, I don't know exactly where my tracks line up underneath. So what I'll do, I'm going to make this so I can move this around. I'm not going to glue this down to the layout for a while, if ever, in case I want to change something later. But what I'll do when I've got everything dried and I've got everything glued here, I'll make a tiny little mark on all the sides where the track goes underneath, and I will come in and I will do a black streak, blackish gray streak over each of the track areas for the exhaust for the engines to stain the edge of the bridge. But I like how this looks right now. We've got some really good color variances. I'm going to get this off the top a little bit here and make some. We still have a few things left to build for this. We talked about it the other day. I'm going to have a fence that we're going to attach here that's going to come up pretty high, and it'll curve over to the inside on both sides, like you see where people going up. It keeps people from trying to climb over. So we're going to have a nice fence along each side that I'll paint silver and do some rusting effects to give it just a little more realism. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to play around with the concrete patches that I did here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm pretty much done with the bridge. I'm going to take a look here and see how. Yeah, that's fine. There's a few areas there. Do what now? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. Most of the train sets back in the day were mostly for kids. Okay, so now back to, I got my brush cleaned out. Back to this brush. I'm going to see if this gray adds anything. I'm going to pick the worst side that I'm going to use to face away. I think I'll do this side right here. I'm going to see if adding any of the gray along here does anything for this at all or not. If it doesn't, I'm not going to mess with it. And I'll just make this face backwards so you never see what I did. Just going to see if having a couple of dark gray streaks does anything for the weathering. Again, I'm going to dry brush. I'm not really seeing where it's adding any benefit to it. All we're doing is just like adding another layer of color. I'm going to take it off right here and see how it looks back down underneath. Nah. Yeah, I don't think it didn't add anything to it, so I'm just going to leave it. So I think we're good. Let me put this up here on the track and see how it looks next to my rock wall. It's fine. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. If I don't like it, like I said, I'm going to glue it to the bottom of it. I can just move it around, and if I want to add more weathering, I can. I can just do that at any time. It doesn't matter. So that looks okay. I think that's going to be fine up against that wall. We're going to set it all up in place here in a sec and just see how it looks, and then go from there. All right, so we get all the brushes cleaned. Okay. What's up? All right, so go ahead. All right. Had a little technical difficulty there, but we're back. I'm going to see how all this looks back here. I'm going to move this. Actually, I'm just going to kind of aim that there towards where I'm working. Okay. That's on the curve. All right. So this is going to go back here. Yeah, the weathering on that looks good against that rock wall, so I'm okay with that. We're done with that. So then these will all be that, this, and where'd my last one go? Ooh, I'm missing one. Where'd he go? Didn't set this on top of it, did I? No. Oh, here he is. Okay. And we'll put this guy where he's going to be, right out here. All right. That should be pretty good. Let's set this on top. Get that. Let's see. I'm going to move that over just a little bit. Try to line this up before I put it on here so I don't have these things falling all over the place. All right. Now we're going to just try to drop this in here. Okay. Yeah, I dropped in all right. I think that'll be fine. All right, so I'll get the camera and I'll show you what it looks like. And then we dull coat it, everything will be fine. It'll be ready to be able to handle it. What I'm probably going to do is just go ahead and make marks where these need to be, and I'll glue these in place underneath to where I can move it as a whole unit, and then I can actually then blend everything together a little more. So, yeah. All right, so I'll show you how that came out. Okay, so there's what it looks like with all the weathering on it. You can see the streaks on the front edge right here along this top edge of the bridge. You can see all the streaks and everything there, and the same for underneath. So I think we're all right. I think that's going to be good. And then that way, if I don't glue this down, I can come in and I can work on this. But then this is basically just done. So that was a good work session on that. I think that came out all right. All right. So that's about it for today. Because like I said, I wasn't sure what I was going to do this morning, and we've got we did get the bench work up here done. If you weren't here when we first got here, I'm going over to Menards here in just a few minutes, and I'm going to get some angle irons for right here so that I can have an angle piece right here, so I can make the curves a little gentler. And the same thing's going to happen over here. We've got our piece of wood right here that finishes the shelf off right to here. I've got to make some special cuts to go around the corner, so we'll be doing that. And then again, if you weren't here, we started to get the station printed off. That's going to go right here next to the huge tower. And we'll be doing that right here. It'll be sitting right here. So then we got to start to work on the I-beams. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it. I know it's kind of fast for today, but we got a lot done. I probably will get this glued, and then we will, tomorrow, I'll maybe show you how I just use the rattle can and dull coat. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff tomorrow morning. Live. So we are going to get all of the bench work finished up right here. Maybe even start working on the foam road bed coming around. Get the this angle here. We'll have all of this done tomorrow. We'll have our loops done tomorrow, and then that way I can get the tracks in, and we can have everything finished up as far as operation goes here within probably a week. We'll be able to have this loop going, and I'll be able to start working on my incline right here that'll bring the tracks from this lower level down up to the upper levels. So that'll be fun to build, and we'll do that in live builds too. And later this week we will start the build on the station, and we will finish up the build on the tower. Somebody asked if I buy a lot of train stuff on Amazon. No, I don't. I buy a lot of stuff at train shows or off of Facebook Marketplace, or we print it. So that's where I get most of my stuff from. I try to go as cheap as I can, and I don't mind recycling. Like I've said in the past, all my track is recycled. I've bought it all used, and then I take it and recondition it completely with sandpaper, getting everything cleaned. I paint all my own rails, the colors I like, and so you know, I'm at 50 to 70 cents per section of track. For almost a 3-foot section of track, about 30-inch section of track is all I have in it. Paint, I don't even count that in the cost because I'm still on my first bottle and I've done tons of it. It's only 50 cents a bottle. So I try to do everything as affordable as I can. I'm going to back up and I'm going to show you everything, and I'll just do a quick review. Okay, so here is where we're sitting now. So you can see we've got all this and in this. So between lower level HO, upper level N scale, everything here, we're sitting at about $425 total for everything that we've done. And that includes all of the filament for printing all of the buildings. So we're keeping the cost down, and that's what we're trying to do. So tomorrow again. Oh, okay. Yep. The B unit. Somebody asked if we could show that again, and that's the what? Yes. So I'll put this here. So that's the B unit I custom did. This is about maybe the 10th one I've done over the years. This is a C44-9 shell with a GP60B cab on the nose with modifications done to it. And it gives you a really great B unit out of it. So I'll turn it so you can see the other side. And the whole thing's been custom painted. It was a black shell and a white nose on there. So that's yeah, that's what we did to make that. Okay, so I'm going to get to Menards before it gets too much later. I want to go over and get those parts for tomorrow morning. We will probably start tomorrow morning's broadcast about 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. At which point we will be working on the rest of the bench work, so I can start working on the track for these 3 main lines that we've got going right here. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us, and hope you've enjoyed it. And we shall see you in the morning, and hopefully it'll be a good long build day. Where I'm probably planning on being on about 3 to 4 hours tomorrow while I get all the bench work done, and hopefully starting on the foam. So we will see you guys then. So have a good night and have a good one.